the hate crimes and the want from Labour to issue those punishments in the same way that they would for hate crimes regarding race or religion, would you not think that hate crimes of any variety should be given the same level of treatment?
I suppose for me, then, that's a question about what we describe as a hate crime. So, for instance, someone saying, I consider it to be unacceptable to expect me to use incorrect grammar and to tell a lie, a biological lie. I consider that to be fun. That's my view on that is as protected as your right to say, this is what I prefer. And a few years ago, I would have, as a matter of courtesy, used your preferred pronouns and have done in the past with other, say, trans guests as well. And yet now I feel very differently about it after cases where, say, women have been told by judges, and this has actually happened in a British court, you must refer to your as she or her and say, she inserted her.
Anchor educates trans activists on hate crime towards transgenders, changing the conversation with logical arguments and insightful questions.
Practiced everywhere around the world today.
What does that mean?
It means forced servitude.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying what does slavery mean. What does it mean that is practiced in multiple places and everywhere today? Does that mean it's okay?
No, it's very bad. But
So
what I'm saying is
then
we're basically the only guys that ever stopped it in all of human history. We in the West, yeah.
That's funny. What do you mean by we in the West?
I mean, Europe and the countries that came out of the European colonies are the only part of civilization ever that decided to end the practice of slavery. And they did so for explicitly Christian
Where do you think that's...
I am a beautiful black woman that also sometimes identifies as a cat or a dog. So I hope you got a leash or a litter box for your guest, for the ones that identifies as cat or dog.
A person who identifies as a cat or dog insists on accommodations like leashes and litter boxes for similarly identifying guests. Understanding and respect go both ways.
We both know
nuclei. Yeah,
chromosomes don't necessarily mean you're male or female.
Gender.
With gender
identity. Go ahead. No, so
especially, but even so, you have a thing like Klinefelter's syndrome. So you don't know what you're talking about. You're not educated on genetics.
Would you like to discuss the genetics or no?
Well, no,
what
no.
are your genetics, sir?
So I'd stay away from the genetics and back to the brain scans.
You cut that out now, or you'll go home in an ambulance.
Yeah, that seems mildly inappropriate for a political discussion.
No, I know. Well, but wait. To be fair, you're actually being kind of rude. And that's not fair.
I'm sorry, it's not rude to say that someone who's biologically a male is a...
A trans individual threatens Ben Shapiro during a heated discussion about chromosomes. Dialogue turns tense when basic questions are seen as provocations.
Abolish ICE. No, I don't say abolish ICE, because if you abolish it, you're just going to create another enforcement agency. You know, INS, ICE. What's next? You just come up with a new acronym to use. Yeah. So we say smash ICE to let the refugees in, full citizenship rights to all immigrants, and that's our political line.
So the benefits of like abolishing or just getting rid of any sort of immigration custom enforcement institution would just be so that everyone can like come in and stuff like that without harassment?
So, obviously, well, I'm for international socialist revolution, so I don't also say open borders, because Cuba, you say Cuba open borders, that means you're allowing capitalism to come in. So I don't say open borders, I say let the refugees in, I say to grant full citizenship rights to all immigrants, but those demands are not going to be met because the Democratic and Republican Party, the U.S. needs the immigration to exploit them, to exploit the workers.
You don't believe...
A socialist walkie advocates for open borders and the abolition of ICE, sparking a debate on the implications for national security and immigration policy.
So you should support President Trump trying to help them get out of prison.
He's not going to help them.
He already has.
No,
he already has. The First Step Act, 95% of the people released were black.
And you can't.
Joe Biden put them in prison. He was so hard on offenses. He said, go out there in these communities, put people in jail for these offenses. He wanted to go hard on crime. 1994 crime bill, look it up. He has sat there and bragged about the fact that there is not a crime bill out there that doesn't have his name on it, because he is so gung-ho about crime.
I'm not saying Joe Biden is good, but he's better.
How is that better than releasing black people from prison for non-violent offenses?
That's not part of his game plan.
He has already done it.
He's already done it.
He's
He's made
A wokey struggles to respond when presented with evidence that prison reforms are aiding black communities. Facts challenge oversimplified narratives.
You think that black people are bad?
No, statistics can't show what people think. Statistics just show what the reality is. And we can look at statistics and graphs and things that have been collected over decades, and we can see where the problems might be within these communities that are destroying the cities right now. We can look at these statistics and we can maybe narrow down where the issue might be. And if we want to solve issues, I tell you what, Black Lives Matter is not the place we need to look for solving issues with police brutality when they want to take the fathers out of the home. You remove the fathers, you destroy the nuclear family for children that need to grow up in a stable family structure. Their odds of committing crime and going to jail skyrocket. I don't know why we say black people have an issue with the police and then want to make their risk of getting involved in the police go up. I would encourage you to look at their mission statement and then look at the statistics about what happens when we take fathers out of the home, especially for the black community.
Claims that racial biases are the primary reason for incarceration rates among black people are countered with detailed statistics and studies. He enlightens the wokey with undeniable facts about slavery, addressing common misconceptions, and fostering a new dialogue.
Everyone, the rumors are true. I am anti-Israel. I am pro-Palestine. And I am 100% 10 toes down anti-Israel. I believe Israel has no right to exist.
This person be tossed off a building in
I believe
Gaza.
the United States has no right to exist. I believe every settler colony who has committed genocide against native peoples, against indigenous people, has no right to exist. I believe in a free Palestine, from the river to the sea. I believe one day Palestine will be free. Is this news to anybody?
Just means kill.
This wokey believes neither Israel nor America should exist, presenting radical views that challenge societal norms.
My kids to protest because I want them to learn to use their privilege for justice. I let them wear what they want and go to drag queen story hours because love is love, all humans are valid, and gender is a social construct. I ask if they want hugs because I need them to know that they have consent and control over their bodies and that no means no. I teach them about and skin color because they are not too young to learn. I never force them to finish their plates because I want them to have a healthy relationship with food. I have them tell me their feelings by showing me inside out figurines because sometimes that's easier than putting emotions into words. And I teach them to love everyone because life is too short for hate.
Listening to this mother explain wokeness to her children is a tough listen, emphasizing the extremes of such teachings.
Put back in. Do the American taxpayers have an obligation to pay for illegal immigrants that come here?
Yeah.
Why?
Systematic oppression is still a thing in its own right, and it's simply not fair.
We're just a lot more privileged. We have the resources to be.
According to these wokies, American people should support the welfare of illegal immigrants due to privilege, offering a provocative view on social responsibility.
ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty they're bad.
I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate race.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get IDs you can do over the internet. Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or they're not informed.
I also think there's a repression of black voting with
These woke liberals argue that voter ID laws are unfair, raising concerns about why some communities struggle to obtain ID, igniting a robust debate on access to voting.
We're here in Austin, where people are rallying for illegal. It's crazy. 4,000 Americans killed last year because of illegal immigration. We need to build the wall. What? What's wrong? What's wrong?
Simpleton, listen to me. He doesn't need $20.
Yes, he does. He's illegal.
illegal doesn't mean you need money.
Good point. Good point. If you're illegal, that doesn't mean you need my money. It doesn't mean you need free health care. It doesn't mean you need to be funded by taxpayer dollars.
That's not what I said. Okay, I'm really. Don't twist my words.
Look at these people.
Stop filming it.
Nope, we're gonna...
Wokies supporting illegal immigrants become upset and reactive, demonstrating the emotional depth of political debates.
So, what does that mean?
Well, I honestly could cover up this and just say that, you know, people have to act on what they believe in to get something accomplished.
What do you want to be accomplished that we should take action against?
Saving the environment, making sure everybody feels comfortable, and
You don't seem to feel comfortable right now.
ill-prepared for the situation, I guess.
A Wokie struggles to explain his own protest sign when questioned, revealing the shallow foundation of some activist claims.
There are non-binary people, there are trans men who lactate, there are those who go by he, him, different pronouns. It's just inclusive to everybody. It is not hurting cis women to say chest feeding, but it does hurt those who go by other pronouns to continue to say breastfeeding, especially if they have body dysmorphia.
There's now a sensitivity around the term breastfeeding, mirroring evolving social attitudes and language preferences.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 21.
You're 21?
Yeah.
Oh, you're so young.
I'm a baby still.
When was your birthday?
May 19th. I just turned 21.
Oh my God. Do you drink now?
Do I what?
Do you drink now?
So, I have. I don't drink. There's this person named Radical Rick. Radical Rick drinks. I don't know who it is, but all of a sudden Radical Rick is like, I want to play, and...
Is that your alter ego?
That is my drunk alter ego.
And he gets drunk. Why is it a guy?
Yeah. Oh, it's not. It's a girl.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Radical Rick, though.
Oh,
it's definitely a boy's name.
Got it. I mean, I'm Bobby.
Yeah, yeah, you get the vibes.
Yeah.
It's stemmed. We have bikes out here that we go and ride, and my bike, the brand name is Radical Rick. And I saw it, and I was like, I need this one. Like, Radical Rick's hysterical. All of a sudden, then we realized that's my drunk alter ego. Ricky!
Oh my God. Are you drunk now?
I'm not. No.
Oh, okay.
I've only been drunk like 4 times now in my life.
It's puzzling. She doesn't drink, but Radical Rick, who is part of her, does. If stopped for DUI, who is responsible, her or Radical Rick?
I identify as a trans financial, which means I'm a rich person trapped in a poor person's body. And I have to deal with this struggle every single day. Life is not fair.
It's amusing when someone's identity reveals their financial status, yet they feel they're in the wrong body, exploring the oddities of identity politics.
By the way, it's illegal to convert from straight.
Yes.
If you were straight before and you chose to be gay, why is it illegal to go back to being straight again? That does not make sense.
Well, I mean, it's in Minnesota law.
They're making it a crime for you to go back to being straight.
Yes.
Big news. Changing one's sexual orientation from to straight is now prohibited, sparking significant discussions on personal rights and freedom.
In the U.S.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look at my sign. 994 out of 1,000 are not incarcerated.
And where's that statistic from?
You can check out rainn.org, RAINN.org.
What is that?
It's a sexual assault, website to, spread awareness, prevention, things like that.
And do you know how they aggregated that data specifically?
I don't know specifically with this one. There's a few I know off the top of my, I can't tell you off the top of my head. I think it's something like 1/4 of women are sexually.
A Wokie contradicts the rape statistics she displays at a rally, presenting a conflict between personal beliefs and presented facts.
It's about we can dress how we want and not saying we're asking for it, right? Where do you hear that specifically in society?
Oh. From ourselves, from other women. I would say that's.
I feel like it's mostly from other women or other men?
Mostly women to start. Yeah. Some men are definitely warming up to it.
When was the last time you heard someone maybe say something like that to you?
Oh, I hang out with a lot of wonderful people that wouldn't say that to me, so I actually haven't heard it.
They discuss a culture at a rally, but face challenges when discussing how comments from other women affect perceptions.
Would you like to talk?
fucking abomination. I love you. Sit out here and judge other. I love you. God bless you. I love you. I don't fucking love you. I love you, though. The Bible says we should love everyone. Amen. Amen. I thought community was love is love. So you don't love me? What about love is love? Amen. Amen. Why? No. I said no. I was talking to her. I'm talking to her. I don't know if you get it. She. Oh, no, I'm not. I'm a human being. You're right. I am judging you. But you're judging yourself through your sin. No, I'm judging you for being a goof and a loser. So it's okay for you to judge? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Wokey becomes visibly upset and frustrated with a preacher, showing the intense interactions of differing beliefs in public discussions. For more Wokey videos, click on the screen right now.
Thing. The Don't Say bill, I think, is falsely labeled the Don't Say bill. I've actually gone to the page, read the bill itself. It's actually called the Parental Rights and Education Bill. And if you go through and read the bill itself, a lot of people engaged in all this fanfare and getting angry about a label, which is 3 words that they heard, rather than going and actually reading the bill. And the bill itself talks about just staying away from sexual education that has to do with other sexualities, has to do with gender theory. A lot of people got mad at the bill saying that he was trying to erase African American history. But if you go in and read it, there's actually a full paragraph where he says the school must dedicate time to talking about African American history, including slavery and Jim Crow and all these different things written directly in it. There's nothing in the bill that explicitly says you should not say the word or encourages teachers to not talk about the fact that you can have a family that has 2 dads or 2 moms. So I think that was
Misconceptions about the Don't Say bill are clarified in a detailed discussion. Education on legislative content is key.
Or not you who might say that. Okay, so the idea that I am transphobic, for example, this is a bizarre kind of attack in the sense that I don't know that I've ever exhibited phobia of trans people. I'm not afraid of trans people.
Well, transphobia is more along the lines of prejudice against the trans.
So I actually think that your first characterization was right. I think that transphobia is really disagreement with the basic principle that the trans community is trying to purvey, which is that people's is malleable, that people can move from male to female, and that it is my job, objectively, to now call them the name they wish to be called, and to teach my children that men can be women and women can be men. I fundamentally disagree with that point. Now, with that said, is everybody in the United States entitled to the same rights? Of course, but your right does not extend to forcing me to...
Accusations that certain speeches incite violence against the LGBTQ+ community are examined critically, stressing the need for factual basis in such claims.
People who were transgender in ancient Greece, Rome, Judaism is an example of a religion that acknowledges, I think, 6 or 7 genders.
I don't think that's quite true. And my evidence for that would be in the very first book of the Torah, in Genesis. One of the most prominent lines is that in the beginning, God created man. Both male and female created he them.
Michael Knowles addresses historical claims about transgenderism, providing context to challenge the assertion that it was prevalent in ancient cultures.
But why do you trust kids who try to transition and recognize that is the wrong puberty for them, but not kids who are going through the wrong puberty and recognize that that is not the right puberty for them?
There's no such thing as the wrong puberty.
Yes,
there really isn't. No, there isn't. In order to mature and become an adult, no, it's not a choice. You cannot stop nature. And if you try, there will be consequences. And there have been. I've been on these treatments, and you might have heard that they are reversible, but they're not. To this day, I experience pains in my joints, and I get shooting pains in my back. And they're so painful that for a moment, they will
A detransitioned woman responds to pro-trans arguments about childhood transitions, emphasizing the importance of cautious approaches to gender dysphoria.
Want to catch Wokey moments in 4K? Watch till the end, subscribe, like the video, and comment Wokies for a chance to win a brand new iPhone 16 or a cash prize. Also, don't forget to check out the next video on the end screen for more chances to win.
In school, as young as 6 years old, it's mostly about LGBTQ, gender ideology, and also sexuality and all the relationship it's going. Do you agree that that is good for children, and do you have any concern that is as young as 6 years old?
I think I would have loved to have this kind of education when I was younger, because I think we all, and at my age, I'm 40 actually, and you know, I believe it was all of an act of trauma, and having no models of not knowing what's happening, or feeling yourself that you're different and not knowing what it is.
I don't think that program is really promoting of children. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think it's really important for them to be aware that the spectrum exists and that there's people on it, and it's okay to be part of it.
The introduction of LGBTQ+ curriculum to 6-year-olds sparks debate. It's about finding a balance between education and age-appropriate discussions.
Catholic. I don't see either of those words in the Bible.
Are you Protestant or Catholic? Do you recognize the authority of the Pope?
I answered you.
Do you recognize the authority of the Pope?
I'm gonna read
Do you recognize the authority of the Pope? Do you recognize the authority of the Pope? Are you circumcised? Will you go to heaven? Are you circumcised?
I can read you a verse
Are
about
you
that
circumcised?
too. Okay, so...
Are you circumcised? Are you circumcised? Answer my question. Are you circumcised? Are you circumcised? Are you circumcised?
Leviticus says
Are you circumcised? Are you circumcised?
I'm trying to answer your
My
question.
Bible says that if you are circumcised, you will go to hell.
Your Bible, can you show me?
My Bible.
Show me.
The one in my heart, written on the walls of my chest.
Well, I can show you.
A Wokey claims bizarrely in a debate with a preacher that circumcision dictates spiritual fate, a statement that distracts from more grounded theological discussions.
I'm not sure that you can, actually, because I think what's here at the basis of it is a Gnostic idea that you can separate your soul and your body. And I know we don't like to use the word soul anymore, so we'll say your identity, man, or whatever, but that you can separate that from your body. And I just don't think you can. I think a woman is the sort of person who isn't a man. I think that's the basic definition of a woman.
What's a man then?
A man is the sort of person who isn't a woman.
How did you know we were women?
Because you look like women.
Okay.
And you sound like women, and when I talk to you, you give the impression that you're women.
So if a really good passing trans woman is here and you were mistaken?
Then I would be mistaken, but he would not be a woman.
No, but my point
But
is
I
that
can be mistaken on
what
rare
you're looking
occasions.
at is secondary sex characteristics, and those are things that people can
Those are the
change.
signs
So
that point to the
pretend
reality
that,
of their
this
sex.
is all men and women, and like,
But I'm not saying the signs are synonymous with their. I'm saying the signs are signs, and the signs symbolize something.
But Michael Knowles confronts feminist arguments about transgenderism with pointed critiques, fostering a challenging discourse.
Patrol is where it came from.
Was very inhumane president, but he was an ass.
Yeah.
And Biden has more humanity. So whatever that means, I don't know. But maybe it shows that Biden has more humanity than Trump.
By allowing this many people into the country illegally?
Where's my word? You know.
Or what's more humane about it, do you think, in your view?
When presented with immigration statistics, a Wokey criticizes the humane aspects of Biden's policies compared to Trump's, igniting a discussion on policy supporting the necessity of firearms for women's safety, challenging views on gun control and personal protection.
How do you personally limit your impact on the environment?
I'm vegan. I don't eat any for animal rights reasons and for environmental reasons, because factory farming has a massive, horrible environmental impact on the planet.
How about taking flights? Do you not take flights, or?
I do take flights. I try to limit to only flights that I absolutely feel like I need to take, but
I guess it's hard to be completely off of everything.
yeah, I mean, it's great to try to reduce your footprint, but I think probably the easiest thing you can do is go vegan, and then you contribute a lot.
A climate activist claims going vegan is her contribution to combating climate change, yet her use of a smartphone highlights the complexities of truly sustainable practices. For more Wokey videos, click on the screen right now.